Hello, my name is Eddie Weber, and this is my ePortfolio comp exam review. First off, just a little bit about myself. This is my 14th year of teaching, going on 15. I've taught at several districts, taught at Sedgwick High School, two stints there. I taught in the Blue Valley School District at Pleasant Ridge Middle School for 5 years, and now I am currently teaching at Goddard High School. Um, so I've kind of moved all over here lately. Um, we live out in the country. My wife, Jana, is a physical therapist, and I've got two little daughters, Hazel, who is in kindergarten, and Nora, who is 3. And then we have one on the way that is due in September. So, quite the busy household, especially right now with the online continuous learning classes. I'm trying to do that from my end and for my daughter as well. So, rather interesting. Couple other things. I coach um, basketball. I used to coach football and track, but once I moved out to Goddard High 2 years ago, decided to give up some of the coaching to alleviate and make ways for new opportunities, especially in the leadership realm. Just a few personal goals that I have moving forward in my career and in life. First off, couple life goals. We did move out to the country, like I said, so now we have some acreage. I grew up on a farm, so that's still a passion of mine, and I like to still run my cattle and do things like that. So we are slowly working our way to that. We bought 20 acres over the summer and moved out from the city, and so now we are living out here, and then we have plans to purchase some more here in the future to expand our operation. Um, as far as some professional goals go, one of my professional goals was to get this master's program or get degree done, and hopefully this is the last step towards that. I wanted to get that done because I know it would open up several different avenues for me along my professional career, and it's already opened up several new windows, which I will kind of discuss a little bit later. Um, Other things that I wanted to do was start utilizing some of the experiences I've had throughout this um, degree program. This is going on this summer would be my 4th year since I started this thing. Started piecing together some classes here and there, but I just kind of want to use those experiences in my classroom. I've definitely learned a lot, especially dealing with the ISLC standards. They've kind of opened my eyes. I hadn't worked with the PSEL and the ITSE standards when I started this program, and then they came along with the ISLC standards, and they're really easy to understand. I really enjoyed kind of working with them, especially they're a little bit more concise and easier to understand. But the stuff they agree upon with vision, with leadership, with managing our organizational systems and the teaching and learning activities to go along with collaborating with stakeholders. It's all been very beneficial, and being able to tailor our activities to that has really helped me out in the classroom as well as it's opened up some key relationships and networking opportunities. Um, I also want to continue to take on more of a leadership role in my district and in my school. And one way, and I talked about this in my reflection a little bit, was I applied for an admin internship. At first, I didn't know if this was something I wanted to do, but after talking to my wife and kind of reflecting and looking back on things, figured this was a good way to explore if I was going to enjoy this leadership aspect or not. So I applied for it, and it was just a great experience going through the interview, getting some of the feedback from our 3 administrators that we did, and kind of going from there. Unfortunately, I didn't get that at this point, but they said I'm high on the radar for 2 years from now when they're going to redo it because the intern position only lasts every 2 years. So, with that kind of being said, I'm going to kind of take you through my portfolio and show you some of my highlights and my key things that are in there. So, starting with our candidate information, my program of study here, I have everything listed out for the courses that I took, um, and so it started out. I took my first class actually through Emporia State, and that was my law class, and that was in the summer of 2016. So. Like I said, we're approaching that 4 year, but I've got my whole program of study here filled out for you. I've also got my current resume that I recently just updated since I just did the admin intern review or interview. So that really helped out along that lines. Um, Other things that are in here is my philosophy of education. I found this to be one of the most beneficial pieces that I've created throughout my coursework in the Ed Leadership program. And that is because this has allowed me to kind of hone in and take into note what I believe and kind of apply that. And this really came in handy, obviously, in that administrative intern position interview. And I got some good feedback on it and some things that I need to work on to kind of clean that up a little bit. But you know, I'm kind of the one that takes it where you take opportunities for everybody, and it takes everybody in order to achieve your goal at school. As far as the activities go, um, my elementary activities, I ended up having 7 of those. My situation was kind of unique with these activities and the fact that I left and transferred schools partway in between. I started out at Sedgwick when I started my program, and now I finished it up at Goddard. It's kind of been a 2 year split on each. And so when I was at Sedgwick, uh, our building was K-8. And so that's why you'll kind of see that um, there might be some activity in here that you're like, well, that should be at the middle school. Well, we were a K-8 building up there, and so our junior high was housed elsewhere. So, with that being said, I had some great experiences at the elementary level. Got to experience an Oak Street boot camp, which is right here, which is where they use it to bring together community and staff members as kind of a exercise fitness class. Got to watch some awesome concerts. The principal over there, Ashley Miller, she was great. She's really done a lot for that building. She's been there for, oh, I want to say it was 15 or 16 years now. And she started a PALS tutoring program 5 years ago, and that was really great to get to see that and work with the kids as well on that. Um, as far as my secondary activities, this is obviously where I had the most. This is if I were to become that administrator down the road, I'd like to focus in on that aspect. But I got to do anything from helping develop our staff calendar that we give to our staff to um, basically make sure that they are coordinating activities with each other and they can see what's on the schedule so that we can give the kids the best opportunity in the classroom and not take them out as much. I was also part of a building level team when I was at Sedgwick. And so I was able to sit in on that with our principal and our superintendent and some other fellow teachers. And we created and looked at technology needs as we were getting ready to make upgrades. Um, did a lot of stuff with WSU Tech. And then you can see throughout here, there are some sporting events in here. Some things that I did not get the documentation on, which was one thing that I kind of struggled with at the beginning, was obviously some of my lunch duty stuff and days where I was put as admin in charge. I just kind of slipped my mind on that stuff. But some overall great experiences there and some really good relationship builders. As far as the district stuff goes, um, you can see here some highlights. The State of the District address. Our superintendent here at Goddard does one every year and kind of gives us an update of where we stand strategic plan wise and as far as our legislative platform. So um, that was a great thing. Learned some CPI training along the way, attended a board meeting. So several different things here that really came from a district standpoint. And once again, built those relationships and bridges. Also in here, you will find my annotated bibliography. My annotated bibliography, I kind of focused a lot since we are in the current COVID crisis and continuous learning plan. A lot of my articles in my annotated bibliography that I read surrounded how to deal with the continuous learning and a crisis from an administrator's perspective. Um, I also got some stuff in here, some good stuff throughout my coursework when it came to leadership styles and kind of what leaders are going to be asked during interviews and what makes a great principal. So some good stuff to look back on. As far as reports go, I got my activity log. It's all filled out there for you guys to go along with those artifacts. Um, You will also find in here, sorry, you gotta bear with me, the internet's just a tad bit slow right now. You will also find in here that I have my administrative evaluations. And since I was at two schools, you'll see I have 5 evaluations in here. Um, I was not able to get our elementary principal from back when I was at Sedgwick, as he retired the same year that I left, and he had Parkinson's disease, so I didn't know where to track him down at, or if he would even be able to. So unfortunately, I did not get his, but I did get our superintendent and our high school principal from there. But there's my documentation to prove that I did my observation hours and that I was working alongside of them during that. And then here we finally have, I got my reflection for you. Um, this was a great piece. It kind of allowed me to really hone back and look. I've never really kind of sat down and written out a reflection. I've always looked at experiences or even lessons within the teaching realm, and reflected back on those to see what went good and what didn't. But this was a great way to kind of tie the standards into what I did, and you can see in here that a lot of my prejudgments and my actual experience were pretty closely related. And so they really tied in there. And then as we further get down, I kind of talked about, am I prepared to go to the next step? If you would have asked me 4 years ago if I was going to even think about becoming an administrator right now, I would have told you no. But the opportunities and the doors that this program has opened up for me, as far as making those connections and networking, has kind of changed my philosophy on that and my priorities, and kind of looking into it with the administration side. If I can get into that admin intern position here in a couple years, really see if this is something that I really want to do, or there might be other opportunities that open up. Goddard's kind of a believer in grooming their own administrator, so I'm really in a good spot with a great district. Um, with that being said, I just want to thank everyone at Fort Hays State, all the instructors, all the professors, my advisors along the way, Dr. Splickle and Miss Frank. And so I really want to thank everybody for helping me through this process. And I look forward to the next step in my career. Thank you.